Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Living, Overcoming, Becoming, the podcast that we believe in healing out loud on purpose. Again, I am your host, creator, and visionary, Erica Culclasure, and we are back with another installment of our Becoming Era of Reintroduction series. So today's special. Now, it is coming back with a 1-2 punch. I ain't gonna hold y'all because we went through trauma, we went through shame, we covered abandonment and abandonment issues. So, what is all of this describing? It's describing areas of brokenness. Yeah. So, we all have our things, we all have our situations. We all have things that we have been through. We all have things that we are still going through. Things that are being brought to our recollection, our memory, through conversation, through whatever. This journey was not meant to be easy, and it wasn't meant to be cute either. Like as y'all heard me say last week, like that cookie cutter, cute, sweet, and slow ministry. That's not what you're getting here. This is that tough love, that I love you, but you need to tighten up type of ministry. You know what I'm saying? Because if I got to tighten up, you got to tighten up, right? So we've been going through all of these things in this journey so far. And this is literally only episode 4 of the series out of 30. And I understand that a lot of the feathers are getting ruffled, a lot of feelings are being had, a lot of questions are being asked, and I get it. I love y'all. I understand all of my lobbers. I hear y'all, all of my comeback kids. I'm right in the thick of it with you. And I don't want y'all to forget that I am not just talking about this stuff. I lived it for a year and a half while I was writing this devotional. Feel me? So I've already done the brain spiral. I've already done the up and down in my feelings. I've already went to God. I'm still going to God as things are being resurfaced while I'm doing this excerpt of my journey, which is talking about the devotional in a different way. So, like I said, we're in this together. I have not gone anywhere. And I understand a lot of y'all are still in the era of I'm a plug it out by myself kind of thing. But please, if you have more questions, if you want to go more in depth, if you want to know a little bit more of the story behind the story, the the overcome behind the overcomer, like just hit me. Hit me, guys. Like I'm not going anywhere. I am holding your hand through this physically, spiritually, emotionally. I'm with it. But all of that kind of boils down to say everything that we have explained prior to this is describing areas of brokenness, right? And we all know brokenness is real. But at some point, it stops being the reason and it starts becoming decoration. And I know that sounds harsh. I do. I get that sounds crazy. Because if something happens to me, why why are you telling me I'm not allowed to feel what I need to feel? I'm not telling you you don't need to feel what you need to feel. I am saying that at some point, does brokenness stop being a reason why you act, do, and say, and just become a decoration, meaning something that you keep around for looks, something that you keep around for justification. Feel me? Today's episode is different. Why is it different? Because now, not only are we addressing something that is very real, but what are we going to do about it from here? Some of us are still calling it healing, but we're really just hiding. Welcome to You Can't Hide Behind Brokenness. That is the title of the episode. You cannot hide behind brokenness. And like I said, this is not a finger pointing episode. This is not a suck it up and shut up episode. This is none of that. This is where I had to get to. This is where I had to get to, very properly placed in my 30-day devotional at day 4. The fourth thing I had to deal with after I dealt with the heaviness of trauma and identifying it, after I confronted my shame and put it behind me, and then after I addressed abandonment, I had to realize I cannot hide behind the things that broke me. I couldn't keep saying I'm in my healing era while still acting, doing, and saying the things that I was doing in my brokenness. So let's just jump right. We just gonna jump right into it because I mean at this point y'all already upset. I know you got chest already puffed up. Y'all already done paused me. Done went to something else, and I get it. But when you come back, welcome back. When you decide that you want to deal with this, so let me ask you something. Right? Are you actually healing, or are you just using your pain for permission? Now, are you hiding behind your brokenness? Just let that sit. Just let that sit. I said, are you actually healing, or are you using your pain for permission? Are you hiding behind your brokenness? Challenge accepted? Okay, let's move on. So, what are we defining here? We're defining what hiding looks like, right? So, right now, you're asking yourself the question, am I hiding behind my brokenness? I'm not hiding from nobody. I hear it. I hear y'all. I ain't never hid from nothing. I always do it everything head on. Okay, so let me tell you what I mean by what does hiding actually look like? Saying I'm still healing, but not doing the work. Yeah, I'm working on that. Yeah, I got this and I got that, but I'm praying about it. Oh yeah, I know I got anger issues and my bad. I'm working on it. Oh my bad, I snapped at you. I'm gonna work on that next time. I know I'm procrastinating, but I need to get up and be productive, but I'll do that. I'll try that again later. That's one. The person that is also saying, "No, that's not me." Okay, so another way of hiding is you avoid prayer and accountability. Before we went into the series, we went into the aspect of accountability and what we know we have experienced, but what it is supposed to be like biblically. We dealt with accountability. But if you're not hiding behind, I'm still healing, but not really doing the work, are you avoiding prayer and accountability? That's another way hiding can look in this situation. No, that's not you, not Erica. That's not me. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's not me. Okay. So are you staying in the blame game? Oh, I'm only this way because you did this to me. I'm only this way because they did this to me. I'm only this way because this is what happened back now, back before, whatever. And that's the only reason why I act like this. That's a third way. I still got two more. So if you're not saying you're healing but not doing the work, if you're not avoiding prayer and accountability, if you're not staying in the blame game, then another way you could be hiding is, are you using your past to justify your behavior? That kind of came up in the last three. I am using what happened to me before to make it okay with what I'm doing right now. The last one. You want grace, but you're rejecting correction. Again, in the accountability mindset, in the mind of Christ, when we accept Jesus into our hearts as our Lord and Savior, we say we want to go to heaven. We want to be a part of the Jesus crew. We want to bring forth the kingdom. Are we doing any of these things to hide behind the things that happen to us without actually healing? Are we hiding behind our brokenness? Brokenness explains behavior, but it doesn't excuse staying there. How long are you going to justify your actions without correction, without healing, without doing the work? How long are we going to stay in that broken place? Some of us have been dealing with aspects of brokenness for a long time. And then we go and we have an encounter with God, or we say we follow God and we attend church every week and we do all of these things, but we still justify our brokenness, our bitterness, our triggers, our how long are we allowed to do this? Especially if we know that God is a healer. When we come and we say we come in his name, but we're still treating people a certain way, when we're still treating ourselves a certain way, how long is it okay to hide behind brokenness? Let me recap. Saying I'm still healing, but not doing the work, avoiding prayer and accountability, staying in the blame game, using your past to justify your behavior, and wanting grace but rejecting correction. Those were the different ways that you can hide behind brokenness. And I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Brokenness explains behavior, but it does not excuse staying there. Get what I'm saying? Real life examples. Erica's still not clicking. I don't get what you're talking about. Let me say this for the ones either in denial that need it explained a little differently, because I am a visual person. Sometimes I can read something all day, but if I see it, it clicks better. So let me give you real life examples. Let's all close our eyes and we're gonna play Pictionary in our brain, okay? So what are some real life examples that we could use for hiding behind brokenness? Let's hit it. Let's go ahead and get this in, because like I said, this journey was not meant to be easy. It was not meant to be easy. So you snap on somebody. Well, that's because of what I've been through. Mm? Sound familiar? It does for me. It sounds familiar to me. Um, you're avoiding commitment. I've been hurt before. I don't trust nobody. Somebody done did something to me before, and nobody can be trusted. Like, nah. Mm-mm. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Again, I I don't just write about stuff I don't know. I'm writing about stuff that I did. 1 and 2 is check for me. Number 3, no growth. You're not progressing. I'm just in a season. I don't need to change. They do. I I I understand. These feel like rocks going down your throat when you have to swallow this pill. I know. I've been there. I have swallowed those rocks. I have. Sometimes what we're calling healing is just avoidance with a spiritual label. I went back to church. I went back to church. I answered God's call. I was in there, but I couldn't get comfortable in a lot of the things that were required of me head on. Like, I knew I wanted to be different. I know I wanted to be healed. I know that I wanted to take a step forward out of what I was doing, because what I was doing at the time was killing me, right? But then I started to notice I wasn't really giving anything to God, and I wasn't really accepting healing. I was holding on to all of the survival tactics that I had built, like we talked about this in identifying trauma, and how a lot of our personality traits were just survival responses. So what I called my personality, what I called a trait, what I called was just me, was all just It was all literally made out of brokenness. It was made out of survival. It was made out of trial and error. It was made out of I had to make myself tough because I was tired of being soft all the time. I was tired of getting trampled. I was tired of getting ran over, taken advantage of. I started building a personality out of survival that wasn't even the true intention of God. So of course, when I got saved, I got baptized, and I still kept the old pieces without letting those pieces be remade or given to me in a way that they were supposed to be used. I allowed the old me to respond in a way that was not meant to be in my healing era, my true healing era. Like my I love the Lord and I'm gonna allow him to change me era because I was going to church. I was claiming the Lord Jesus Christ, but I wasn't really healing. I was just saying I was. And that's more common in the church than you think. Because if I wasn't going to hide behind one of the other three, it was I'm just in a season and I don't need to change. They do. Why do I have to change? They're the one that did it. And then why was I running away? Why did I always have my bags packed at the door? Because I'm avoiding commitment. Because I've been hurt before. I don't trust nobody. I done been left before, dogged before. I done been in bad situations because I trusted people. So why would I do that? I done snapped on people. I was a fighter. It wasn't nothing for somebody to look at me crazy and I'm with it. Well, because of what I went through and because I turned my back one time, somebody snuck me. So now everybody about to get it. It don't matter. I'ma cuss anybody out. Smooth. That was me while I was still in church. And then I had to get checked because I was using the grace of God as a crutch. I was using the mercy of the Lord to take my time. But what I didn't realize is all that time I took taking my time, how many things did I miss? How many opportunities did I deny? How many relationships did I just all around not make when I needed to do it for the ministry of the Lord because I was taking my time healing? Now, don't get me wrong, some things do take time. But what I also wasn't doing is I wasn't giving it to God in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm talking about myself. Now, if y'all can connect and y'all, I just heard a in the spirit. I did. If this sounds familiar, I'm talking about me, y'all. I ain't talking about nobody else. This whole journey, this whole podcast, this whole whatever was built off of my experience, what I went through, what was revealed to me, how I had to go through it to give it to you guys. The truth of the matter is, God is tired of spoon fed ministry because it's dead. Like I said, how much stuff did I miss? Did I deny? Did I not activate on because I was choosing to opt out of the healing? Because I was too afraid? Because it was too much? Because it was not my problem, it was their problem. If they fix their self, then we won't have an issue. No, that's not how ministry is. That's not how God is. The Lord works with you first, which then is an outpouring to others. You cannot hide behind brokenness. He's tired of us hiding. He's tired of us taking our time. I have said this in the last two episodes, including now this one. There is an urgency in the spirit that is happening. There is an elevation of a certain type of people with a certain type of attitude, with a certain type of message happening. There is something coming where we need to prepare. I literally just had to teach Bible study yesterday about raising up the next generation, right? And out of that conversation, not only is it confirmation on what I'm doing on my singular ministry, like right now, like on my podcast, it was a confirmation in my spirit because everything is timely. Everything is divinely planted for what it needs to do, for whoever needs to hear it, for whatever needs to move forward, because the urgency is there. The importance is there, because if it's not with us, it's with the ones coming up behind us. And are they going to be prepared if we're taking our time, if we're not giving it to God, if we're not really wanting the healing? We don't need more comfort. We need more confrontation. Are you tired yet? Are you willing and ready yet? And if you're not, what do you need? So let's give it some biblical context, right? Because what we need to do is we need to stop trying to heal and actually do the healing. Because at this point, are you trying to heal or are you looking for sympathy? And I get it, change is scary. But let's look at somebody who dealt with it in the Bible. So, where I was led to for this conversation. Okay. We're in John chapter 5. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whosoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had had an infirmity 38 years. Okay? This man had an infirmity for 38 years. Verse 6. When Jesus saw him laying there and knew that he had already been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" This is Jesus talking to the man with the infirmity for 38 years. In verse 6, when Jesus saw him laying there, he knew that he already had been in that condition a long time. He said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" Verse 7, the sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Verse 8, Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And recap, after a feast, Jesus went to Jerusalem, and there was a pool in Jerusalem called Bethesda. A certain time, every single time on that dot, whatever that appointed time was, an angel from heaven would come down to the pool and stir it up. The first person that got to the pool was healed of whatever sickness, illness, ailment, whatever they had going on. The Lord comes to the pool and sees this particular man that has been dealing with an infirmity for 38 years. 38 years. And asked him, "Do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made well?" Now, the man could have simply answered, "Yes. Yes, I do. I absolutely do." He could have answered yes. But what he did was almost like a finger point. Like, it was almost like a what's the word that I want to say? It was almost like he kind of like Heisman the situation. Like he pivoted. He pivoted because then he said, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." He was asked, "Do you want to be made well?" He said, "Oh, there's nobody to help me. And by the time I get there, somebody else is there." Now, in my head of heads, I justified him for a second because I'm like, yeah, if he can't walk, then, is that really his fault? But then in my head, I'm like, but no, if I want it bad enough, I'm a plan. So if I know that angel coming on a particular day at a particular time to stir up the water and only in one person that gets there first, if my butt was not crawling to that water to make sure that I was the one that got there first, that's what I'm saying. How bad do you want it? 38 years of infirmity, that's enough to give up. That's enough to feel like a lost cause. That's enough to sit in it. You sit in something so long, you just become accustomed to it. You know you want it. You know you want different. But, I've already been laying in this bed this long. Another 38 years can't be that bad. I made through 38 before. So, if I get there, I get there. If at one point, maybe somebody will come by and they'll pick me up. They'll do the work for me. That's what that man said to Jesus when he asked him to be made well. In that response, "Sir, I have no man to put me in a pool when the water stirred up. And then while I'm coming, somebody else is quicker than me." Okay. Then Jesus said with a command, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." If you want to be healed, do what I say. Get up. Do you believe it? Do you believe me? Do you believe that you can do this? So I guess maybe Jesus' stern voice might have, you know, put something in his mind because then it says in verse 9, and immediately the man was made well, took up his bed, and walked. Do you want it? Really? Do you want to be made well? Do you trust Jesus with your healing? That's a question you got to ask yourself. Do you really believe your Lord and Savior can really take it and do away with it? 38 years is a long time. You know what I mean? That was a man who was in the same place for 38 years. Became so accustomed to it that if I get to the healing, I get to it. But if I don't, it can't be as bad as what I'm already dealing with. But then when Jesus came on the scene, and it said he was looking for him, basically, and he knew what that man had been dealing with for as long as he had been dealing with. The Lord didn't pick him up and take him to the pool. He asked him a simple question: "Do you want to be made well?" Jesus didn't ask him what happened. He asked him if he wanted to be healed. Even in the response, he deflected, he blamed, and he focused on his limitation. But in Jesus's response, "Rise, take up your bed and walk," there's no excuse, there's no debate, and there's no delay. When the Lord tells you, when the Lord commands you, when the Lord is your Savior, you go with what you know. He's the healer. So are you giving it to him to heal? Or are you waiting for somebody to take you to your healing? Are you building a home in brokenness and then hiding behind it? Some people are comfortable in brokenness because the pain is familiar, healing's unfamiliar, and it requires responsibility. And you have to admit, some people don't want healing. They want relief without responsibility. They want the person to come by and ask them, do they need help? But what happens if that doesn't come? Your helper is already with you. The helper is Jesus Christ. Are you giving your healing to him? I get I know. Jesus will meet you in your brokenness, but he will not let you build a home there. He did not let that man go another day knowing that he was capable of receiving healing. sought him out, looked for him, and didn't give him the option of healing that he thought he was going to get. He gave him a command of healing. Take up your bed and walk. Y'all, pick up your bed and walk. We can't keep delaying. We can't keep denying. We can't keep deflecting. You either want it or you don't. And you have to be very honest. And if you don't, that's okay. That's a conversation between you and the Lord. But if you're going to do so, don't come in his name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there is an understanding that you want to take your time if you need to. And like I said, some things require it, but it also requires the responsibility. And the responsibility is while you are in ministry, while you are being a spokesperson, being a representative of the Lord, how are you carrying yourself? How are you responding while you're healing from your brokenness? That's all very important because at the end of the day, none of this, like I said, is a blame game. None of this is a shame shift. None of this is in any means making this is not meant for you to feel some type of way. I am talking about myself. Again, I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. But at the same time, we have to stop hurting others in our journey, especially when the time is running out, especially with the urgency, especially with the next generation needing our guidance, needing our strength, needing our testimony. Do you actually want to be healed? Because it requires action, it requires obedience, participation, and letting go of your excuses. The man was healed because he responded by picking up his bed and walking. For years, he stayed the same. 38. 38 years, he stayed the same, even though healing was available. Just because healing is available doesn't mean you've chosen it. Like I said, I came up with a million different scenarios in my head. Because if I want it bad enough, I'm a scoop, I'm a roll, I'm a claw my way to that pool. But sometimes the work seems daunting. Sometimes it seems like it's too much. Sometimes it just the unknown. Oh, if I crawl, somebody could step on me. Oh, I could be hungry. All of my food is sitting here on my mat. Oh, there's a crowd of people. How am I going to get through them? Excuses, comfortability, familiarity. I'd rather sit in something I know than be disappointed. Because what if I get there and I think I'm the first one and then boom, it's not there? How long I got to wait again? That's not the point. Jesus is asking us, do we want to be made well? How are you responding? Day, what is this? Day 4 in An Overcomer's Guide to Becoming was the lie, I am too broken. And it was calling out the belief that you're too messed up to be used or healed. God builds with broken things. That's day 4. That's where the inspiration for this episode came back because you can't hide behind the brokenness. Because how can the Lord use you if you're using excuses? And when he's trying to use you, how much are you hiding behind your brokenness where you're missing the opportunity to do what he needs you to do? How many people are being turned away from him because you decided that it was the other people that need to heal, not you? Are you taking responsibility? Are you trusting the Lord with everything or just some things? Do you want to be made well? This part of the devotional, it pushes past awareness. It forces accountability and it requires participation. because now you know of all of the ways that you could be hiding. And now you know it doesn't matter what you've been through, what you've done, who you were. When we come to God and we accept Jesus as our savior, we are expected to allow transformation to happen. We are expected to allow God to take the brokenness and remake us, and then to take the broken pieces and reuse them for our good. But how are we being made in a new image when we're still pouring from cracked cups? When we're still not allowing him to break us all the way to remake us? Because sometimes our brokenness is just the tip of the iceberg. Because sometimes accepting the brokenness goes from brokenness to pressing, but it's all for our good. Like the crushing is meant to get the oil out, right? And in our healing, sometimes it'll hurt. Sometimes us doing the work is the crushing. This devotional is all about the crushing because the oil that comes from it is meant for the good and the building of the kingdom. This is not for people who want to feel better. It's for the people who are ready to become better. And it's not for everybody. I understand that. But at the same time, how much more time do you need? Some of you have been doing this healing thing for just as long as that man's been in that bed, 38 years. Some of you have been harping on the same thing. Some of you are still getting triggered by the same thing. What are you doing to change it? Are you changing your environment? Are you changing your mindset? Are you changing your circles? Are you changing your language? Or are you sitting there waiting for somebody to pick you up and do the work for you? Are you making excuses and then sitting in comfortableness and familiarity because that's what you know? But then you're not growing. But oh, it's not me that needs to change, it's them. You are responsible for you. If you love the Lord and you know that He can conquer and do all, then He can heal you, but only if you want it. He loves us. He gives us grace and mercy, but the grace and mercy is wearing thin. And at this point, to build His kingdom, we need to be made whole. We need to be healed, and we need to be ready. Because at the end of the day, when we all go to that judgment seat and He looks at you, are you going to be the man that looks at Him and says, well, nobody came by to pick me up and take me to the pool? Or by the time I got there, somebody got there before me. Is that excuse going to be enough? I chose not to heal, God, because it wasn't me, it was them. Is that excuse going to be enough? Oh, well, God, I didn't leave this place when you told me to because I was too afraid of what comes at. Is that excuse going to be enough? Because all of that is just enforcing the thought that the people you could have touched, the people you could have brought back to God, the people that could have heard the Lord and His word was all tied up in you being tied up in yourself. It's time, y'all. Jesus is still asking, do you want to be made well? You can't hide behind brokenness forever because at some point you have to deal and you have to decide to heal. I completely adore whoever it is that one got through the end of this episode. that purchase the devotional to do the things that they know they need to do, even though it's hard. Anybody that purchased it for somebody else, whoever got, the guts to take on, hard topics, hard situations, hard realizations. Because like I said, this is never ever ever meant to make you feel bad. It's to one, encourage you, but two, force the pills down your throat that you need to take. Because we all need to be made whole. We all need to be made well. Because we all need to do what we need to do for the Lord. And we can't do it if we're still weighed down. I definitely understand that my tone has changed in the past few episodes. I definitely get that some things are harder to deal with than others, and these topics kind of keep stacking on each other in a means that it does seem like y'all keep getting a 1-2 punch every 5 seconds. I do. I get it. I, I'm with y'all, but like I said, I'm not leaving y'all alone. I'm not leaving y'all out there in the wind. Y'all can either get with me at www.thelawpodcast.com. You can send me a message through the contact page on there. My email, livingovercomingbecoming@gmail.com. You can hit me there directly. 610-241-5366 is my direct line for the podcast. Text message, call, set up an appointment to talk. I'm still taking on guests. I keep trying to pull on guests, but some of them, they're not ready yet, and I get it because some of them are still caught up on some of them are caught up on the first day. I think it was like that trigger response of like, oh, my personality was made out of survival. That was a lot for a lot of people. Like, I think that was like the first entrance of I punch people in the gut, but it's all out of love. I may present like all the time, but I'm really like, this is more of my aggressive side, but I'm a person that will also give it to you straight, but give you a hug after. Because it's all love. It really is. And knowing how the Lord has to speak and handle me, that's just how my ministry is. It's very blunt. It's very like in your face. It's very bold. Like, I try to put enough cotton candy sugar on it as I can, but some of it falls off because some of the topics just aren't meant. Some of it just is not meant for that. But like I said, guys, definitely hit me. I still definitely want to know how all of you guys are doing in the process of the devotional, where you guys are. Like, just dialogue with me. Let me know. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, _ the Loud Podcast. I'm on TikTok. Like, please just send me anything, really. I feel like most of the people I talk to is like either in my church or like my cousins that bought the devotional. But I see it selling. But please, let me know, guys. Let me know. Because next week, if everything is panned out the way that I need it to, I will be actually having my first guest for the series. And we're actually tackling anxiety. Because control is not a spiritual gift. That is the title. I will not reveal my guest at the moment, but it is a trained professional. She is a licensed therapist, and she is also a believer. So not only will you be getting the tea, but you will also be getting the facts. So tune in next week to Control is Not a Spiritual Gift. As always, I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm always with y'all. I'm rocking with y'all just like I'm rocking with the Lord. I love you guys. You have a good night. Bye.